All right, guys and gals, welcome back. Welcome back. It's newsletter time. Joseph James, School of Trade, sidewaysmarkets.com. That's our web address. Welcome back to your nightly newsletter, broadcasting live from our corporate headquarters here in Los Angeles, California. It is Wednesday evening, October 29th, 2014. Boy, oh boy, we got some great stuff to talk about today. Where do I start? First of all, an incredible day of price action. With the, obviously, we're expecting pretty sloppy markets today with FOMC this afternoon. But I'll tell you, for the most part, though, gold gave us, I'm like, what's going on? Gold gave us great trading opportunities early in the session. Russell, crude, overall, a pretty good FOMC day. Can't wait to dig into this stuff with you guys. We called some great trades from last night's newsletter. We'll talk about that in a moment. And you know how we always roll. We're going to give you guys strategies and charts to work with so you are ready for tomorrow. But before I jump into the good stuff here this afternoon, I want to remind you guys, make sure you're watching this newsletter video on our blog right now. If you're not watching this video over at our blog at Sideways Markets, there should be a link below the video. If you're watching this on our YouTube page, there are 3 important reasons you need to get over here to the blog at Sideways Markets. First of all, reason number 1, you can download all of my charts. I take a lot of time every evening putting these charts together for you guys. Even if you're not a member of mine here at SchoolOfTrade.com, you can download all of those charts by simply clicking that link right below the video here this evening. Second thing, upper left-hand corner. Every day we trade live in our trade room right along our advanced members. If you are not a member and you would like to see what it feels like, sounds like, what does it look like to be inside of our live trade room? What type of strategies do we trade? How do we enter into these trades? I would love to show you all those details and give you a free pass to come attend our trade room. If you're already a member, you already got the goods, right? But if you're not a member yet, if you're curious about what it means to be a student in our live trade room, grab your free pass in the upper left-hand corner. Last but not least, certainly not least, go down bottom there, find my ugly mug, and you'll see a spot there for your name and your email address. Lower left-hand corner here, we have a nightly newsletter mailing list. Join that mailing list by giving your name and your email address, and I'm going to send you an email every time our newsletter gets published every evening before 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So 3 things. Make sure you download the charts for today, grab your free pass in the upper left-hand corner, and don't forget to register for your newsletter mailing list. If you grab the free pass, or if you register for our newsletter list, don't forget, I'm going to send you a verification email. So make sure you check your email when you register. That way I can verify you're not a robot. All right, guys? Ready to rock and roll? Helmets on? Seatbelts fastened? What a day. What a day. Wednesday in our trade room here today. An FOMC Wednesday here today. And of course, we'll start out here with the mighty Russell. Now, before we begin, I can't forget about this. Called this last night on our newsletter on the Russell. If you were with us last night, we talked about the Russell pushing higher yesterday. And if you recall, last night, my exact words were to look for volume divergence at the highs. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. Just after I sent out the newsletter last night, we made our new higher high in price. Follow me down at the bottom of the chart. Lower highs in volume. That is called regular divergence. And the way that I always remember it is regular divergence is best for reversals, regular reversals. And then, of course, you have hidden divergence, which is great for continuations or pullbacks. We talk more about that inside of our training classes here at School of Trade. But what a great example of our strategies in action last night on the newsletter, right? My exact words, look for a double top short, and then I gave you guys the exact target at 36.7. That's $1,300 in profit per contract. If you just simply took my call from just one of the many profitable trade calls we made in last night's newsletter, all right? I would need a few hours to go over all of them here right now. I'll let you go back and see for yourself. Let's move forward now, right? Start looking forward instead of in the rearview mirror. And I'll tell you, this Russell looks mighty overbought. It looks pretty darn overbought. Now, you can see we've drawn in this channel, right? We connect the dots at the highs, right? I then project that line down to that low, and right, bada bing, bada boom, there's your channel. So we're all the way up at the top of that channel right now. Also, we see a couple sell zones up top here, right? 66 to 52, 87 to 70. So it's pretty easy to see this Russell is going up against a brick wall of resistance. So we know that we have some resistance overhead. But we do a little bit of teaching in our trade room, just a little bit. And we talk about the way the markets work, and we talk about how when we see a moving average cross, it tells us we have a change in short-term market sentiment. If we follow that up with a set of new highs and higher lows, well, that confirms a change in the short-term trend. Moving average cross tells us we have a change in the short-term sentiment. Higher highs, higher lows now confirms that sentiment has turned to a trend. I think this area right here is where we began the move higher. Now, I'm not going to give away all my secrets, but if you're a member of mine, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about when I say this area right here is as far as we can go without becoming an irrational market. This area right here, we take this area, we project it up. This is as far as we should be going here and still consider this to be a rational market. What that tells me is that we're due for a pullback. We're due for a pullback before we go higher. All right. Again, I'll teach you guys all the details when you guys attend our training classes. But right now, this Russell is telling me I'm looking for a short. I think we're going to be able to get that pullback here, possibly all the way back to 1100. We'll see. We'll see what tomorrow brings. Let's go through our 3 steps to success, though. What's my trend? Well, right now, we have a long-term trend down, but you can see short-term trend, though, now is up here on my 64, right? We got a green indicator on it. So we are definitely bullish on this chart as far as trend goes. Where would my buy setups be, right? See, you've been watching every day. Now you know the 3 steps, right? Trend, setup, trigger. Trend, setup, trigger. We know our trend is up, but where's my buy setup? If I want to be a buyer right now and follow this trend, where's my buy setup? Yeah, it's down below me, 1096, 1082.3. That's why I'm saying right now, guys, I'm telling you, this is looking like we might get some easy selling opportunities here. We might. We got to get a couple things here coming first. And let's dig in a little bit deeper on this now. And let's see what we might be looking for before we get that little bit of a sell-off here. Now, look at this from the 64 now to the 32. There's no question at all. What's my trend? Trend is bullish, right? How do I know? Green clouds, higher highs. I'm above all the key moving averages. There's no surprise here. This is a bullish trend. So where's my buy setup? My buy setup is going to be at a discounted price, 1126.4. There's that 1120. We talked about it yesterday. Watch that level closely. Watch that level closely. 1120 tomorrow. It's going to be significant support, and then it will probably become, wink, wink, significant resistance. All right? We'll talk more about that tomorrow morning in my trade room for all you members out there. Buy zones here, 10.8. Buy zones here, 95.1, right? So my trend is up, but I have to wait for a pullback before I start getting that easy money buying opportunities again. So I need to stay patient here if I'm a bull. If I'm a bull right now on the Rusty, I need to stay patient before I get long again. If I do want to buy, though, I'm going to buy, ideally, I'm buying 1120. I can start buying, though, as high as 1126. I'm going to wait for price to come down, and then we'll start looking to buy this baby again. Now, personally, my gut tells me we don't go higher, right? My gut tells me we pull back off this. But my gut feeling is not a trading strategy. All right, so I'm not going to trade my gut. What I'm going to trade is what the market tells me, and we're going to see that tomorrow once we get around this 1120 area. If we start to pull through that, then we know, right, it's on the downside. So targets overhead, 53.7, and then I get a projected target overhead here at 66.9. Call it 67 if you want to. Okay, so be aware on that Russell. If you want to be a buyer, you got to wait. If you want to be a seller, well, here's where you want to look to sell. I told you there's going to be a little bit of a tricky part here so you know where to start selling. On this Russell chart, you can see it right here. I'm drawing in this trend line. This trend line is my line in the sand. That trend line right there, that's my line in the sand. We get below that trend line, now we're looking to get short. Okay, now we're looking really good to get short. And we got the targets now down at 1126.4, right, 1110. And then, oh baby, there's the 1100, that big round number. Now again, what I'm talking about is we have price well overbought here this week. We're probably going to get some profit taking. We're probably going to get some bargain hunter sellers at these highs, right? And we may, just may, see another double top at this high. I will definitely be looking this evening for that failed double top, just like what we saw last night, right? The exact same scenario. Look for volume down bottom. Look for volume to make a lower high. Look for price to make a higher high, right? And you'll see that reversal come up together nicely, right? So watch tonight, early tomorrow for an early, and again, I mean early. It's going to happen tonight or tomorrow before probably 9 a.m., right? It'll happen technically in the Globex session here on this Russell, right? The Russell's electronic, so it's not really going to have a pit session anyways. But you get the point. So look for an early retest of the highs for a great selling opportunity tomorrow on the Russell. And if it's anything like we saw today, it'll hopefully give us another 130 ticks of profit per contract again as well. My trend is up right now, and again, I've got to wait to pull back before I can start buying again. So if you're a buyer, stay patient, at least down to that 1126. If you're a seller right now, you've got yourself a plan, right? And I've got this trend line overhead. We get below that trend line, look out below. That's when we start selling this baby if you're a seller. All right, guys? Be ready on that Russell. Be ready on that Russell. How about that gold? How about that gold? Boy, we got some pretty good personality on this GC this morning, right? I wasn't expecting that. Usually the gold is a corpse, 24, 36 hours before FOMC came out. Not exactly the case this morning. So relatively easy to get the short going here today ahead of that news. And then, of course, they continued to push this thing lower. Guys, if you're trying to understand gold right now, I don't want to say don't waste your time, but don't waste your time, all right? There are so many wrinkles out there in this crazy world we live in. I love my job as a technical trader because all I do is look for the 3 steps to success. What were those steps again? Well, find my trend, find my setups, and find my trigger. What's my trend? Right now my trend is down. How do I know? Lower lows, lower highs, red clouds, below the key moving averages. All right, Joe, with that trend, where are you going to sell? I'm going to sell, to follow that trend, at a trade setup. Brilliant. Well, where's the next trade setup going to be? Yeah, see, it's all the way back up. So we have to really be patient if we're going to be selling gold right now long term, right? If you're a long-term trader on gold, you really got to stay patient here right now. Either we get new lower lows, which probably not going to happen anytime soon, or probably not tomorrow, or we got to go back up. Now, there's still a chance here. This may just zigzag back up here, right? This might just be a little A, B, C, D zigzag back into that 66.1, but it's not likely right now. The FOMC announcement is one of only 2 news events that has long-term lasting effects on the markets we trade. I repeat that again. FOMC is one of 2 specific news events that have long-term lasting effects on the markets. What would the other one be? I'll give you a hint. It happens the first Friday of every 1 month. You got it? Non-farm payrolls. Non-farm payrolls happens 12 times a year. FOMC, 8 times a year. Those are the only two news events that are strong and broad enough to have long-term lasting effects on the markets. Basically what that means is what they said today in the FOMC announcement is what major trading institutions, right? Trading corporations, central bankers, large industrialized nations, right? They will use this information for their own monetary policies, and the whole wheel keeps going. So right now, we push lower on gold. If we're looking for a long-term sell right now, we're going to have a hard time finding it. Let's dig in a little bit deeper here. Let's find out where we might have some short-term selling opportunities. There we go. The 32 anchor chart is just what the doctor ordered. Now, we're back below that key support. We're back below that key support. Very important clue. Now, I gave you guys this area right here, 1205, right? Last night's newsletter, I said this is probably going to be your head and shoulders target down at 1205. Okay, so we didn't quite get there. Didn't quite get there yet, but we're almost there. So what's our plan for tomorrow on gold 32, right? Kind of a midterm selling opportunities. First of all, what's my trend? 3 steps. Don't forget. Don't just guess. What's my trend? And I do this over and over again because my job as a coach, just like a coach for your golf swing. What does your golf coach do? He looks over your shoulder, or she, corrects your swing and repetition, right? Everyone knows the best way to a good golf swing is what? Repetition. Over and over and over. That's why I do this over and over and over. Okay, then you're not going to need me to keep doing it over and over and over because you're going to remember it. What's my trend? Trend is down. How do I know? Red clouds, lower lows, lower highs, below all the key moving averages. Piece of cake. Now, here's the most important thing. Anybody can say, I'm going to follow the trend. What makes us successful, right, is that we use a setup. The setup says, participate in this downtrend in these locations. Where is a sell setup? Oh, baby, right there, 21.9, a beautiful sell setup. You'll notice it is conveniently located right on top of that key support, which, of course, we all know, support becomes resistance, resistance becomes support, right? So we know that we have our first sell setup conveniently located between 25 and 21. Then we go overhead. I've got 29.7, 31.9, and 45.5. I don't think we go all the way to 45.5 tomorrow, but we know it's there if we need it. Now, just a heads up here, notice real quick, guys, right around this 1231 area, that is a multiple level, right? They're right on top of each other. Look here also. Look at all this junk you see right here, right? A lot of stuff right there. So this area right there, 1231, I would definitely be making that a priority area to look for a sell if we do get above that 1225, right? I would definitely be using that as a selling area there, okay? So I'm looking to sell short on a retracement. Following that trend, I've got targets down here at 1202, targets at 1198, targets at the low of 1183. Now remember, that 1200 area, that is the break-even point of the mining industry, right? It's the $75 a barrel for OPEC. It's the mining industry's break-even point, $1,200 an ounce. So very, very important level there. It will act as a price magnet there on the gold. Last but not least here on gold, we go to our 16 anchor, and you can see a lot of the same stuff. Now, the reason I wasn't going to include this chart here, but I wanted to include it so you can see that we were able to find some pretty interesting technical analysis on this chart, right? We projected these levels out, and you notice how well these things line up, right? I could easily see us here ending up down to this target down here at 92.5, 92.6 here by end of week, right, end of month. We'll have to wait and see. We get a downward trend right now, and again, all of these sell setups are waiting for you here, all right, with my emphasis on that 1221.9 area, right? That was that key support, which now becomes key resistance. Don't forget to keep your eye on that $1,200 an ounce level. That's going to be a target for us right above our extension target at 92.6. All right, guys? That does it for our funny yellow metal, the gold futures. Now, how about that crude? How about that crude? Well, we're still consolidating here on crude well below those January 2014 lows. In fact, I don't know why I keep forgetting to put this on this chart. That should also be marked up here, right, as a sell zone here for us, right? That will definitely be a sell for you as well. So, looking at the crude right now, crude oil got a nice boost, right, from these FOMC comments here this afternoon. Not a tremendous boost, as you can see. We're stuck in the mud around $82 a barrel right now. Why crude jumped? Remember we talked about this last night? What are the crude traders listening in for right now? What's the biggest fear? That's always the easiest thing. Think about what a buyer on crude would have been scared of today. A buyer on crude would have been scared if Janet Yellen and the crew down at the FOMC, if they said rather than what was the word they used? Considerable time, I believe was the exact words they're using right now for when they're going to raise interest rates. If they would have changed that wording from considerable time to data dependent, right? That's another word they like to use, data dependency. If they would have changed that around a little bit, you would have seen this thing sell off today. Because the biggest fear for a buyer on crude right now is that the FOMC turns off the easy money. If they start raising rates, that's going to make it real difficult on the global economy, not just the U.S. economy, and that's going to kill any hope for increasing demand, right? And also, it's going to really make it difficult for all those small oil producing nations, all those small oil corporations, and also, too, it's going to really hurt the shale and natural gas industry here in the U.S., right? Because their break-even point is right around that $75 a barrel, right? Like we said earlier on gold. So we know that the FOMC had a really big, they really played into this move higher today on crude. Why am I talking about that so much? I'm glad you asked. Because we notice right now, what's my trend long term? My trend is down. I want to stay focused on selling right now. But I'll tell you what, when something like the FOMC comes out and gives this market a bearish market and gives it a boost like it did today, and the boost that it gave it, it wasn't, they didn't change anything. It wasn't like they said something different and then traders reacted bullishly. They acted bullishly because of what was not changed, right? And that's a big difference. That's a big difference. What I'm thinking is we may have walked right into a great selling opportunity here on crude for tomorrow. Now, if you're a long-term seller, you've got some waiting to do here on crude, right? 86.60, 90.92, 84. 84 would really be the closest thing to a selling opportunity for a long-term seller on crude oil. So what is a day trader supposed to do? Let's keep going. Let's go down to the faster time. Ooh, boy, there's a lot on this chart. Yeah, there's a lot on this chart. Now we're zooming in on that consolidated area. Yeah, and you can see there's quite a bit on this chart. This is what I'm talking about. The FOMC runs us right into the highs of this range. And guys, we are probably going to see a little bit of blow off from this and go even higher. Right? I wouldn't be surprised at all if tomorrow morning we wake up and the news headlines read crude rallies to 83, 84. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Not at all. The smart money traders out there are going to be licking their chops, getting ready to sell this baby at the highs. So we're going to keep looking for those selling opportunities until we get out of this range. right? Until we break free of this 84 down to 79, until we break free of this $5 range, I am still a bear. And I'm looking to sell 82.44, 83.09, 84.09, 84.48. I don't think we get all the way up to 85.83, but I'll sell it there too. So we are definitely looking good here for some selling opportunities. I love the day after FOMC. The day after FOMC is one of the, well, it's just like the Monday after non-farm payrolls. It's somewhat easy to see who is going to be getting involved. There are a lot of traders that don't even trade FOMC for good reason. It's usually a really difficult day. You get a lot of speculation, a lot of people sitting on hands, a lot of people doing crazy things. So most long-term successful traders, right, they sleep in, right? And that was a joke. That was a joke, members. That was a joke. I hope you guys got that. Yeah, I'll take responsibility for that bad trading joke. But again, most successful long-term traders, I'm talking to you members, they sleep in on FOMC day. I know. If you're not a member of mine, you don't understand what I'm talking about. For all the members that are with us today in the trade room, I hope you're getting a good laugh at my expense off that one. But we know that a lot of traders don't trade FOMC day, so tomorrow, get ready. Tomorrow is Reaction Thursday, right? The reaction to FOMC after everyone's had a chance to digest the announcement this afternoon. Now, we know we want to get short. How about if I want some targets, right? We got some targets down bottom there, right? I haven't used a black font in a long time, right? That felt good. Use a little black font, a little change in pace there. You got 80.18 for a target. 79.04 is the range target. And if we happen to get really moving lower, I've got 77.92 as an extension target of this little wedge we've got going on here right now on the crude. All right, guys? If I go one time frame faster here, you'll notice it's a lot of the same stuff. We haven't needed this 16 anchor in quite some time, have we? No, we haven't needed this 16 anchor in quite a long time. So it feels good to have this back on our screen here, but again, to be very honest with you, I don't think you're going to need that 16 anchor. If I was in your shoes tomorrow, I would use these levels off this 32. I think these are going to be the major levels. If you can get that, if we get that sell off the highs, right, down to that 80.18, down at those lows. But again, if you're looking more short term though, we know that we've got a great selling opportunity up here at 83.09. And then I've got targets waiting for you down bottom, 81.16, 80.18, right, 79.74. Those are going to make for excellent profit targets, right, as well. All right, guys? So now you know the strategy. We're bearish on gold. We're bearish on crude. We are long-term bullish on Russell. But like I said, I got a feeling we'll be looking for some selling opportunities tomorrow on the Russell. We will wait to make sure. We'll wait to make sure that those selling opportunities are there. We're not going to blindly just sell the Russell. And then what do you think? Let's finish up here with some news for tomorrow, shall we? Let's finish up with some news. We have quite an array of news tomorrow. Let's dig in here real quick, and let's see what we have in schedule here for tomorrow. Now, first of all, we have no worries about tonight. There's no news overnight, which of course, with the exception, of course, of Game 7 of our World Series. Are they really going to raise a banner in St. Louis? No, not St. Louis. Kansas City. Boy, that was bad. Sorry about that, guys. Are they really going to bring home the World Championship to Kansas City? Are we really experiencing tonight? Are we really going to have a Game 7 at home in Kansas City? We have a better chance, right? I have a better chance of sitting down to lunch with Obama and Putin tomorrow afternoon. I have a better chance of that happening than us seeing a home Game 7 in Kansas City in the World Series. If you're not a baseball fan, remember, to be at home in Game 7 means you've got to be the number one ranked team, right? That means you got home field advantage. The Kansas City Royals, yeah, I know, right? It might as well be the Bad News Bears. What a great story. Got to root for the underdogs tonight. So go Royals. I love the Giants, but I mean, how do you not root for these guys in Kansas City? How do you not cheer on the underdog? Anyways, so besides Game 7 of the World Series, in case anybody cares, we have no major news tonight in Asia. Tomorrow, though, we got quite a bit on this, and I apologize. The image is so pixelated here. It was a big image I had to go after on the website. So we have 3 a.m. news out of the Swissy. We got 4 a.m. news out of the Swissy. I've got just before 5 a.m. I've got unemployment in Germany, but that's the minor stuff. I'm thinking big news tomorrow, 6 a.m. Eastern Time tomorrow morning out of the EU. 8:30 a.m. tomorrow morning out of the U.S. 8:30 a.m. jobless claims. Now, you might be wondering about this report tomorrow, Janet Yellen. This is not a big report for Janet Yellen tomorrow. She's going to be speaking somewhere tomorrow. She's doing the opening remarks at some seminar somewhere. So nothing, people will be looking for it, but she's not going to say anything crazy. Right? I mean, she would literally get slaughtered out there if she started saying anything off the cue card. So I don't think she's going to be doing anything crazy tomorrow, but just in case, be aware, 9 o'clock, right? She's going to be on the microphone. But again, I don't expect much out of it tomorrow, okay, at 9 o'clock. We do, though, have, for some strange reason, we get consumer prices in Germany tomorrow at 9 a.m., right? Well, what time is that? What is like 4? Is that like 4 o'clock gamut? What are they doing? I have no idea why that's at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, but again, that is in Germany, so obviously be aware of that. So from what I can see tomorrow, though, no major news overnight, nothing really of any importance in the early London session, but be ready there, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock Eastern Time, and then get ready to roll tomorrow morning. 8:30 a.m., we got big Red Star news. If you're a natural gas trader, you've got natty gas inventories tomorrow at 10:30. I don't trade natural gas. No worries there for us. We got news in Japan tomorrow night. And, of course, our good friends down under in Australia, they get their PPI. So we have some major news tomorrow night. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. But most of the news is packed right into that 6 o'clock till 8:30 a.m. So be ready for early morning trading opportunities tomorrow, all right? Tomorrow, what we're looking for is we're looking for the reaction to today's FOMC announcement. Oftentimes what happens is the initial reaction starts to unravel, and then we start seeing a brand new reaction middle of the morning, right? So don't be surprised if tomorrow is an extremely active day, all right? We, of course, will be in our live trade room tomorrow morning together. Open it up, 8 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow in my live trade room, 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Having a great week so far this week. And before I let you guys go, I want to thank you for sharing this information with a friend. I want to thank you for joining our free trial over here at SchoolOfTrade.com. We'll invite you guys out to our trade room, give you guys the run through. We offer 3 levels of membership here at School of Trade, and we have someone standing by here 24 hours a day, 365 days a year to answer your questions if you have them. Guys, we have been teaching and trading with students in our trade room for almost 11 years here at School of Trade, right? We call trades live in real time, and we make it very easy for even the newest of traders to begin earning and learning. My name is Joseph James. I want to thank you so much for being a part of our newsletter here this week. Congratulations on a great week so far. Keep up the hard work. Follow that plan, right? And go Royals. Enjoy the World Series game tonight. We'll see you guys same time, same place tomorrow. Oh, and we're what, 48 hours away from Halloween? Make sure you get that costume ready, right? Make sure you get that costume ready. I'm having fun as always. Thank you guys for being here. Signing off now, JJ from School of Trade. Adios, amigos. Bye-bye for now.